Hello students! Today's idiom is, I'm going to play it by ear. The expression play it by ear means to make decisions about your actions while you are in the process of performing those actions without previous planning. Here's an example that will make it clearer. Let's say you're going on a trip to Europe, you're taking a vacation, and while you're in Europe, you want to visit various countries. Spain, France, Italy, Germany, etc. But you haven't decided exactly how long you're going to spend in each place. If somebody asks you, how long are you going to spend in each country? You could answer, I'm not sure. I'm going to play it by ear. This means you will make the decision in the moment. After you experience each country, then you will decide whether to stay there for a longer time or stay for just a short time. So again, play it by ear means to make those decisions in the moment of performing the actions, without planning out all the details previously. This expression comes from music. If you play a piece of music by ear, it means you play it after hearing it, after getting familiar with the melody, and not by looking at a piece of sheet music. That's the music written down on a piece of paper. Another expression with the word play is play it safe. To play it safe means to take action to avoid risk or avoid bad consequences. Here's an example with that. Let's say you need to go to the airport to catch your flight to Europe. And let's say it's an international flight, so you need to arrive 2 hours before the flight is scheduled to leave. But you could say, I'd like to play it safe, so I'm going to arrive 3 hours before my flight leaves. You want to avoid the risk of missing the flight in case of an unexpected delay, so you play it safe. In this case, by choosing to arrive earlier than necessary. Out of the blue. If something happens out of the blue, this means it happens suddenly and unexpectedly. We couldn't have imagined that it would happen. Here's an example. Let's say I had a childhood friend who I lost touch with. I lost contact with this friend, and I didn't have any contact with her for many years. Then, one day, out of the blue, she sent me a letter. Out of the blue means I was not expecting to receive her letter, so it was a complete surprise. A similar expression is out of nowhere. Here's an example for that. I had a car accident. I was driving along the street and I turned left. Then a motorcycle appeared out of nowhere and crashed into my car. Out of nowhere means I didn't see the motorcycle, I wasn't expecting the motorcycle, and it came unexpectedly and crashed into my car. You can also say that a person came out of nowhere when this person's history and origins are not very well known. For example, you could say, Ryan came out of nowhere to win the National Skateboarding Championships. This means that Ryan was not famous previously, and few people know where he came from. But then, unexpectedly, he appeared in the national championships and won them. Look on the bright side. When you tell somebody to look on the bright side, it means you're telling them to try to find the good aspect in what seems like a bad situation. For example, let's say you have a friend who's taking English class, and your friend is very upset because they gave a presentation in class and it was full of mistakes that the teacher corrected. So your friend is feeling sad about his mistakes in English. You can tell him, hey, look on the bright side. At least you learned a lot through the teacher's corrections. The other phrase is a blessing in disguise. If something is a blessing in disguise, it means it's something that seemed bad but actually turned out to be good, even if the good wasn't obvious at first. Here's an example. Imagine that you lose your job. This seems like a very bad situation, being unemployed. But then imagine that with your free time, you begin to write, and then you launch a new career as a successful writer. So later, you could say, losing my job was a blessing in disguise because it enabled me to start writing and later become a famous writer. Get a head start. To get a head start means to start something early so that you get some sort of advantage. Here's an example. Imagine you are taking a literature class, and imagine that today is Monday. In class, your teacher says that Wednesday's assignment will be to read 5 chapters of a new book. Well, you're going to have a busy day on Wednesday, so you want to start early. You go to the library today, on Monday, and take the book out from the library so that you can get a head start on the reading. Actually, I'm getting a head start right now. I need to record 1 video every day, but I'm getting a head start. I'm recording this video now, earlier, so that I can publish it later. I'm doing the work earlier than necessary. That's what get a head start means. Another expression related to starting things is get the ball rolling. And this means to start a process, project, or activity that might be a bit difficult to start, but then after it's started, it will continue going with its own momentum. Here's an example for that. Let's imagine that you and your neighbors want to have a summer barbecue in which everyone will participate and help out. Although you've talked about this barbecue with your neighbors, nobody is really taking any action to make it happen. So you can get the ball rolling by going to each of your neighbors and making a list and having each person agree to do certain tasks to prepare for the barbecue. Thanks for joining me for today's lesson, and I hope to see you next time. I'll be back in the next video with more expressions.